watching Super Saturday Debate with me, Maria Shakil. Big win for the NDA. Jagdeep Dhankar has been elected as the Vice President of India. Mr. Dhankar bagged 528 out of 710 votes, while opposition candidate Margaret Alva got only 182 votes, indicating a cross-voting by the opposition members. Prime Minister Modi went to Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi's residence and congratulated the new Vice President. In fact, he is Vice President-elect on his victory. BJP Chief JP Nadda was also present. Congratulatory messages have come in from Home Minister Amit Shah, who tweeted and said that Jagdeep Dhankar will prove to be an ideal guardian of the Constitution. Meanwhile, there are massive celebrations underway at Dhankar's hometown of Jhunjhunu. Dhankar will take oath as the next Vice President on 11th of this month.
Impressive and decisive victory. I congratulate him, and I also thank Honorable Prime Minister for selecting such a person who is a lawyer also, and a very eminent lawyer also, and who is a farmer also. This is a rare combination.
Arun Dhata is joining me live from outside Prahlad Joshi's residence. Arun, so celebrations are underway in Delhi and also in Jhunjhunu.
Well, that's right, Maria. We are at the residence of Prahlad Joshi, where all the celebrations are taking place. Prime Minister Modi came first, congratulated Jagdeep Dhankar on becoming the next Vice President of the country, and once Prime Minister left, then we saw Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reaching here to congratulate Jagdeep Dhankar, and also Amit Shah, Union Home Minister, has arrived here. He's inside congratulating Jagdeep Dhankar on this victory. So it's a massive victory for the NDA because they have not only managed to get their tally better in compared to last time, but also the kind of divide which has been seen in the ranks of opposition. That is something which is the management skill of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We had seen Mamata Banerjee abstaining from the voting, saying that she was not consulted before this decision was taken. So these are not the good signs for the oppositions before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Opposition parties have been trying their level best to stick together, but whenever there is big opportunity for them to stay around, stay together, they always fail. And today was one such occasion. Jagdeep Dhankar getting around 528 seats and Margaret Alva getting 182 seats. So this result shows that how BJP has managed to really upscale their vote percentage in this election, but also they have been able to really penetrate into the opposition, because there are a few cross votes which happened in this election. And also the big significant move here is that a Kisan Putra, a farmer's son, which both Prime Minister Modi and JP Nadda have been saying is going to be the next Vice President of the country. And even as we speak, you can hear in the background that how celebrations are taking place. Bands have come here, especially the traditional dancers of Rajasthan are here in the Prahlad Joshi's residence to really witness this victory and becoming part of this victory.
All right, Arun, thank you so much for getting us those sights and sounds from where Mr. Dhankar is. He is certainly the man of the moment. Let me bring in my guests at this hour. We have GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament of the BJP, Syed Nasir Hussain, Member of Parliament of the Congress. Nasir Hussain, the question is, first, the presidential elections where Draupadi Murmu won with over 60% votes. There was cross-voting that happened with 17 MPs, 136 MLAs voting for her, cross-voting in favor of the NDA nominee, and now Mr. Dhankar, who has won with 72% votes. Isn't this number a matter of concern for the opposition? Because certainly the index of opposition unity is at an all-time low.
Maria, I don't know why every time there is an indirect election in the country, whether it is for the post of president or whether it is for the post of vice president, I don't know why do you open up this debate of opposition unity, because it is not a direct election here, it is the election of the elected representatives voting in an election for the post of vice president. Earlier it was for the post of president. I had mentioned on your show earlier also when the presidential elections were on that there have been instances in the past, whether it was Shiv Sena, JDU, several other political parties who voted for the candidates other than their alliances. Now in this particular election, it is only the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha who vote, and already BJP had 400 plus members.
Yes.
I am telling excluding NDA, BJP had 400 plus members when Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha put together for BJP alone. So it was a safe game for BJP, and then you have the NDA alliance partner. When then you have those parties who are neither with UP or nor with NDA. These parties are also come these kind of elections, they are all pressurized with all kinds of tactics
but
to
Nasir
vote
Hussain,
for the
Mamata
candidate of the
Banerjee,
ruling party, which
Mamata
they have been
Banerjee
doing.
is clearly with the opposition.
No, let me finish. Maria, let me finish. Let me finish, Maria. Maria, let me complete. So, it was a foregone conclusion that the ruling party candidate, that the NDA's candidate would win. Nevertheless, it is a platform to be utilized by different political parties to put up their ideological viewpoint, to put up their political positioning on different issues.
Okay.
And especially Mrs. Margaret Alva, who has been an experienced politician, who has been a statesman, a governor, etc., former union minister. She, I think, articulated the opposition's, and especially Congress party's views and the opposition views vis-a-vis the constitution of our country, vis-a-vis the democracy, vis-a-vis what is happening now, vis-a-vis what we should do in the days to come and all. I think she has articulated in a very short campaign, the very short time she got for her campaign. She has fought a very good election, and this result was known prior because the numbers were very, very clear.
Okay. Then in that case, GVL Narasimha Rao, with 528 votes, which is over 72%, you don't have much reason to celebrate because this was a foregone conclusion as per Nasir Hussain.
The Congress party can rationalize its massive defeat, while it was evident from the beginning that we had the numbers, but the margin of victory for Sri Jagdeep Dhankar is far higher than the BJP's own strength in both the houses of parliament. We don't have more than 400 in parliament. Let me correct my friend Nasir. We have 303 members in Lok Sabha, 91 in Rajya Sabha, which adds up to 394. But what we have got is 528.
Around 400,
so that's a huge addition to our number. And the Congress in the opposition has not been able to add as many numbers. So we have added 128 plus 8, that's 136 additional votes than what BJP has got. And the Congress has not managed to add more than 100. So that tells you how Congress party is not a favorite both in direct elections, which they have been losing one after the other, and they are also not a favorite in indirect elections. So there is really nothing much for the Congress to cheer except to rationalize their own defeat.
But Nasir Hussain, I'm glad that you're also smiling. So let's keep this discussion, in the real spirit.
Let me correct GVL. Maria, let me correct GVL. See, they have, say, around 395 to 400. It is BJP's votes which are already there in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Apart from that, they have NDA votes. They have NDA votes in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. See, what they gain to start is through their pressure tactics is BJD, YSRCP, TDP and the breakaway Shiv Sena. They have not added anything else. These votes they have already got in the presidential election.
TDP.
These votes, these parties have supported them on various bills in the parliament.
Yes, but
You
Nasir
take any
Hussain,
controversial bill
Chandrababu
that has come
Naidu
up in the
was
parliament, these
visibly
parties
on
have
your
already
side.
supported. So there's no great deal about bringing extra votes here.
Okay, Nasir
There's no
Hussain,
great deal about
Chandrababu
bringing extra
Naidu.
votes. Neither the opposition.
Yes, Mr. Naidu.
No, Maria, why
Yes.
don't you allow me to speak?
You got
Maria,
all the
why
time.
don't
You're
you
getting all the
say
time.
only to
Please
BJP
go ahead.
Spokesperson.
Go ahead.
Please allow me to speak. You should allow me to finish. You give enough time to BJP spokesman and don't give
No, that's an unfair charge. That's an unfair charge, Mr. Nasir Hussain. I won't take that.
And
way.
opposition,
Yes.
say opposition has not lost many of the votes. Opposition, except for TMC, who TMC, who is not a part of UPA, TMC has abstained from voting. TMC has not come for the voting. Otherwise, I think most of the opposition parties, and especially
So
the
you were
UPA,
expecting 182 votes.
Bloc is intact, and they all have voted together.
So, Nasir Hussain, you were expecting 182 votes. Is that what you're saying?
No, I see. I think, I don't know how many invalid votes are there out of the 15 votes.
Yes.
How many invalid votes are there? I think it was roughly around 200 votes that we were supposed to get. And there's no cross voting at all. Maybe one or two here or there. There's no cross voting from any of the parties. See, they have already broken the Shiv Sena. So that was out of question. Half of Shiv Sena votes were not supposed to come to us. TMC has already announced that they'll not come for the voting. So it was around 192 to 200. I don't know how many have got invalid. I think this is what was expected on both the sides.
Okay,
even for BJP also, when
disappointed?
BJD, YSRP, they already announced, it was what was expected.
You know, you clearly say that this is what the UPA is, but we have seen in recent times, after the UPA lost elections in 2014, that Aam Aadmi Party has taken the opposition space, the TMC has taken the opposition space. Yes, they may not be part of the UPA, but they are part of the opposition bloc.
Maria, see, every political party in this country has a right to assert itself, has a right to put forth its policies and programs, has a right to be active, to actively participate in the democratic process of our country.
Okay.
That TMC is doing, Aam Aadmi is doing, somewhere RJD is doing, all these parties are doing. See, there are two blocks, and there is also a third block. There is not a third block. There are parties outside these two blocks, and they have been there since ages. BJD was not a part of NDA, YSRCP, TDP, they all supported NDA from outside. Some supported UPA from outside, but they were never part of any bloc.
Okay.
Left parties were part of UPA at one point of time. Now they are not part of UPA. Even before 2014, they left UPA. So see, the dynamics changes.
Okay.
What is more important is, on important issues you come together, you fight against the government. That doesn't mean that you have to fight elections together.
Okay, JVL
that doesn't mean that you will have
the
to
point
stay
being
united
made here
together.
is also this, that NDA, the formal NDA may be shrinking, but there are these parties that back you. They backed you in presidential elections. They did so also in the vice presidential elections. But the charge that is coming in from the Congress is that there is some kind of pressure tactics that the government does, and that is the reason why you get support.
I think these are very absurd allegations. They the parties which are supporting us have been supporting us on issues. What pressure would the chief minister? What pressure is BJD under? We fight BJD in
13 members.
I did not Nasir, can I finish? Can I please complete my statement? I think our evidence has not shrunk. What needs to be understood is BJP has grown manifold. We have grown across the country. Today we have a government in every state in the northeastern region. We and our allies have governments in a majority of states in this country. The BJP has grown. It is not that NDA has shrunk, number one. Number two, I think the Congress party, you see, we have only 91 MPs in Rajya Sabha. You see, the Vice President of India is also Chairman of Rajya Sabha, 91. And our ally, JDU, which is our formal ally, is only 5. They have 90, another 5. That makes it 96. 238 members are there as on today in Rajya Sabha. And on most issues, these people seem to be shouting along with the Congress in the well of the House. They are seen only in the well of Rajya Sabha to disturb and to create nuisance. But then they are not together when it comes to opposing the BJP or the NDA. So certainly, the opposition with today's election, it further seems splintered. And even in Rajya Sabha, where we don't have a majority, the Congress and the opposition do not have the numbers to oppose the BJP. Good news to us, good news to the country. And first of all,
why do you say good news to the country?
First of all, hearty congratulations to Jagdeep Dhankar ji for winning
a strong opposition is what makes a democracy robust.
Let me complete one line. I think let us first congratulate through your program the new Vice President-elect, Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, with his being a legal luminary, being a son of a farmer, I think he'll be a great vice president and he'll be a great chairman of Rajya Sabha. We'll certainly look forward to working as members in the Rajya Sabha under his stewardship of the Rajya Sabha.
And both of you are members of the Rajya Sabha. So
Yes,
you'll have him on the chair even
Yes.
when you speak. So yes, Nasir
Maria?
Hussain. Yes, Nasir Hussain. You know, Jagdeep Dhankar, when he was the governor, during his tenure as the governor of Bengal, actually was in headlines the manner in which he was taking on the government. He was taking on TMC Supremo on issues of policies, on issues of law and order, and also post-poll violence. Don't you think that's a matter of concern now for the opposition because of his direct attack which comes from him, you know, based on his understanding of the constitution?
Maria, first of all, before coming to your question, let me ask Mr. GVL. He was mentioning that BJP has grown from here to here and BJP government is there in so many states. So let me ask him, how did they get the government in Karnataka? How did they get the government in Maharashtra? How did they get the government in Bihar? How did they get the government in most of the states in Northeast? How did they get the government in Madhya Pradesh? How did they get all these governments? That is the question. That is the mood
Because
question.
we had the mandate in
It is
all the
not
states.
important to be in power. What
No,
is
we
more
had the
important is
mandate.
how do you grab power? How do you grab power is very what has to be discussed and what has to be protected now is how do you assault the democracy and grab power? That is what has to be discussed. Point number. And coming to your question, Maria.
Maria.
One
coming
moment,
to your question, Maria.
GVL, I'm going to give you the final words. Let him speak. Yes.
Let me congratulate. Let me congratulate the newly elected Vice President of India, Mr. Dhankar, and I wish him all the best in his tenure. I hope he will uphold the Constitution of India. He will uphold the democratic values that are upheld in our country for a long time. We have certain culture. I think that has to be protected, and I would really be interested I would be really interested in seeing him, because when we sit in the chairman's chair in Rajya Sabha, you have three sides. The right side is reserved for the treasury bunches, the left for the opposition, and center for the non-aligned parties. I hope the chairman doesn't look only towards the right. He should also look towards the center and also look towards the left of his chair, so that we are also heard there. And there's something called certain demands or certain requests of the opposition parties. I think he will also allow opposition parties to speak in the Rajya Sabha. He will let there be more discussions under Rule 267 when the opposition asks. He will rise above the partisan politics. He will act as the vice president of the country,
Nasir
not
Hussain
as a
has
nominee of BJP.
with the vice president elect he's making on my show. Okay. The final words for you, GVL.
And then I wish him all the best, and I hope he upholds our constitution. In the days to
Yes, GVL.
As the chairman of Rajya Sabha and as the new vice president of India, I have no doubt he will discharge his duties as mandated by the constitution, because he's himself a constitutional expert or a lawyer, and as someone who will go strictly by the rule book. So a lot of opposition members we see in the house, they misquote rules and they want to distort the entire rule position to suit them. That's not going to happen, I hope, even under the new
is
chairman.
one of them.
And as regards BJP coming to power in Karnataka, Nasir is from Karnataka. Did we have the mandate or did the Congress win the mandate? We were far ahead of the Congress in terms of numbers. So it was only natural that BJP came to government in Karnataka.
But you didn't have the numbers, GVL. You didn't have the numbers in Karnataka.
You did not even get
You didn't have the numbers in Karnataka.
You got one-third of
you stole some of the MPs from Congress and JDS and formed the government.
Door with Shiv Sena. So you stole the mandate.
No. It was an alliance. It was a post-poll alliance.
No, you were not in
They
alliance
wanted
in
to go with
Maharashtra.
you. It was a
Were you
post-poll
in
alliance.
alliance in Maharashtra? Were you
It
in
was a
alliance
post-poll alliance.
There was
Even in
no
Maharashtra,
pre-poll.
they didn't want to go
So
with
you
you.
only stole the mandate.
They didn't want to go with you.
You stole the mandate in
If
Bihar.
Shiv Sena
You
wants
stole
to
the
come, it is
mandate
a
in
party.
Karnataka,
You stole the
Maharashtra,
members. You stole the members. It was a party which was willing to go with Shiv Sena as a party was willing to go with Congress and NCP in Maharashtra. You stole the members. You took them to resort. You stole them. That's what you did in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra.
All right, Nasir Hussain and GV
all
Narasimha,
the
thank you so
northeastern
much for
states.
joining us. Shifting focus to our top international story now. The situation between China and island nation Taiwan is intensifying by the hour. After China pressed ahead with military drills with 20 Chinese aircrafts, in fact, crossed the Taiwan Strait median line. Taiwan scrambled jets to warn away China. Amidst China's military drills in the Taiwan Strait, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken slammed China and said that though U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Taipei visit was peaceful, Beijing launched 11 ballistic missiles. Meanwhile, a Taiwanese official key in leading missile production was found dead in a hotel room earlier today. The official has been identified as Ol Yang Li Sing. The cause of death is being investigated. On the other hand, China continues to snub the U.S. This after Pentagon chief's call were ignored by China.
Missiles firing into the sea around Taiwan. Fighter jets scrambling to take off. And plumes of smoke seen by residents in the Chinese city closest to Taiwan. The video shows live rockets being fired towards the Taiwan Straits. Moments later, state media confirmed the launch. The woman filming says, "Wow, we're witnessing history." Beijing unleashing a show of force on Taiwan over U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island. China's military claims it's starting the largest ever drills around the island.
My teammates and I flew our fighter and headed for the airspaces around the Taiwan island. We are ready for combat and able to fight at any time.
Defying Beijing's threats, Pelosi met with Taiwan's president and key lawmakers and business leaders. Crowds of supporters in Taipei welcomed her.
Taiwan has been an island of resilience, and now more than ever, America's solidarity with Taiwan is crucial, and that is the message we are bringing here today.
China's foreign ministry says the trip is a, quote, outright farce. Taiwan calls this the median line. More than 20 Chinese warplanes crossed the line the day after Pelosi landed, an unprecedented number.
They're demonstrating that they don't recognize Taiwan's lines because they don't recognize Taiwan. So this is an act of political warfare, psychological warfare, and information warfare. It's also a very important signal to China's own people to demonstrate its resolve.
These boxes encircling the island are where Beijing says their military drills are happening. It's a blockade, say both Beijing and Taipei, and a major provocation in the eyes of Taiwan and the U.S. But to a lot of Chinese citizens, it's not enough, especially after officials had hyped up expectations of an unprecedented military response. Disappointed, wrote one person on China's Twitter-like platform Weibo. Another mocked that its leaders should speak less, do more. But far from speaking less, officials are issuing one fiery statement after another, all condemning Pelosi's trip. It also banned imports of thousands of food items from Taiwan and suspended exports of natural sand, a key component in semiconductor chips. All of this rage just over a 2-day visit. Pelosi's presence in Taiwan, a slap in the face to Beijing, which insists the self-governed island is a rebel Chinese province. Pelosi is out of Taiwan, but she left a crisis behind her. Beijing's retaliation is just getting started.
Crime.